Hey guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I've got my laptop here because we're going to be recording some different videos to get set up for Wild University. Wild University is actually a brand new platform that was released by Wild for Planners. And if you know anything about Wild for Planners, or if you don't know anything about Wild for Planners, one of the biggest things that they do is a Go Wild planner conference every year. So this past year, 2020, because of coronavirus, they were unable to host their event, but it has been delayed until 2021. And so it is something where they basically throw one of the biggest planner conventions in the States. They recently, September 1st, in fact, just opened up a new platform, which are going to be a series of content that's set up kind of like a university where you have different courses that you're going to be enrolled in and taking. There is, as part of the Wild University, a major course that you're taking as well as a minor course that you're taking each month. And then there's a series of courses that are already uploaded in the library, and they're adding more content as they go through the program. So to join Wild for Planners Wild University, the way that you do it is basically register for an account, and pay the fee for Wild University. So you can either opt for a monthly fee, which is $22 a month, or the annual fee, which is $129 per year. And that basically adds out to be about $16 a month. So you basically save like 3 months in the course of a year. Now, I did go ahead and purchase the annual membership just because I felt like, I already invest so much money into planner supplies and learning about planners, and I just love to learn. So it was my gift to myself to just have something that I can enjoy doing for the next year, and I don't have to worry about renewing it or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is basically show you what the Wild for Planners Wild University looks like. And so I just went to wildforplanners.com, as you can see here, and then I'm going to click right here and it says Wild U. Now, as you can see here, there's a couple of different things that are part of Wild University. The very first thing is that enrollment occurs between the 1st and the 10th of each month. So if you want to enroll for a course, or like the two courses, the major and minor courses that are offered for that month, then you can just enroll just for that month and pay that monthly fee, the $22 per month. But after the 10th, the enrollment closes, and it's pretty much like that's the class that's set for that month, and you're either in or not in for that month. It does open up at the beginning of every month. And so there's a different things that you can kind of read through, but it basically says, you're accepted. This is a place where you can learn from other creatives in a community that's built just for learning how to plan and learning how to do things related to planning. So I'll click here just so you can see the learn more. Right? And so there's a video, and I'm not going to worry about that, but welcome to Wild University. It's an online membership community for planners and creatives just like you. Again, you can do month to month or enroll as a founding member for the entire year. And so there's a lot more information. And so if you scroll down, here are the fees, as I mentioned earlier. When you enroll, you can see here that in comparison, you have access to the community, you have access to the major and the minor course. There's a live Q&A offered on Facebook every month. There are workbooks and downloads that you have for each of the courses that you're taking. And then the last one for the annual fee is the diploma library, which is access to the entire library of content. And you can watch as much as you can within the month if you're joining the monthly membership, but you have access to it for the entire year if you have the annual membership. And so in addition to the monthly membership, the annual membership also includes the founding member kit, which is just Happy Mail that's sent from Wild for Planners with like a pen, decal. There's like a little W like letter, like the lettering letter. What am I trying to say? Like the athletic letter. And so you also know that you're going to be able to have access to everything for the year. Okay, so there's of course a bunch of other stuff here, and you can scroll down and I'm going to scroll down just so you can see all of this stuff. There's already content from a lot of these individuals right here, like Wrong Marquita, shout out to her. So there is a ton of stuff just related to how it's worked and or like how it's set up. And so that's it. All right. And so I'm really excited about being part of this group. I've actually never done like Go Wild or any of the planner conferences related to Wild for Planners. But it's my first time, and I thought I would just dive right in and get the annual membership just so I have access to everything. And it's just a little bit of a expensive splurge. Although if you really think about it, if I went to a planner conference, it'd be right around the same price. So now I can go to a planner conference all year round. So what we're going to do now is have some fun because I got so excited that I started like immediately thinking about different ideas. And what I want to do is create like a school notebook for Wild University. It takes me back to like when I was actually a student and putting together all of my papers and my dividers and like getting all my pens gathered for school, and that kind of like excitement about back to school for myself is so awesome. I really love it. I get that a lot too being a teacher, but this is like actually learning, and I'm a student, and I'm very excited about that. So what we're going to do is actually shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to put together the notebook and talk to you about like how I'm setting up basically a custom Happy Planner classic size notebook for Wild University.
Okay, so what I do to create a cover, especially one that I'm designing for myself, is to basically open up Word, and I'll open up a blank document. And for the cover, one of the things I want to do is just to make sure that I have the correct spacing and enough room around the edges. And so one of the very first things I do is just to make sure that the picture that I'm using is going to be centered within the full letter size page that I'm printing on, the 8.5 by 11 page. So I'll go ahead and center it by hitting that button. And then the other step I'll do is go to layout and then page setup. When you open that up, I'll go to layout, which is this tab, and then I'll change the vertical alignment so that way it's centered. And then I'll hit OK, and then you can see here that the cursor then goes to the very bottom. And that's where I want it to be, so that way I don't overshoot or like not have enough room on the edges once I trim it down with a paper cutter. So that's the very first thing. The next thing is I want to actually get my image. So let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. Let me just go ahead and take a second to log into my account and grab that photo. Okay, so I found the two images that I wanted, and actually I really love this. I'm already thinking I would use that as the cover and be able to like just have it on a very clean white background with like pretty much nothing else except for my name at the bottom, just like a standard cover. And I'll use some metal discs with the Happy Planner and just go from there. So it's going to be really cute, I think. I'm going to take a look here. I think that should be a good size to leave it. And I'm going to hit enter a couple of times and try to find a typewriter font, which I have a ton on my desktop right here, or on my computer. So then I'm going to, let's just see, not taking that, keep the one that we've got. Okay, so I'm going to use that one, and I need to make it just the tiniest bit smaller. I feel like that's a little bit too big. Oops, move it to about 80. I didn't mean to take, okay, so 80. And then one of the things I want to do is change the color. It will be eyedropper RGB color. Okay, and I'll click this first link, and I will upload an image. Oh, this is not actually saved as an image. Okay, so I need to save it as an image. I'm going to save as a picture, and I'll just put it in my downloads file, which is pretty much where all things end up. I'll put Wild U, then I'll go back to the website where I was, upload this image in my downloads, and yes, we get all of these colors. Awesome. I would like, let's wear this color. I like this color. So I'm going to go with this one, and the hex code is right here. Let me actually see in Word if you can use a hex color. I think you can. More colors. Yeah, and you can go down here to hex color and just change out the hex code, and it will actually show up as the color. Okay, so that's perfect. I love that. Now, one of the things I want to try to recreate is kind of this pattern where it's like an offset blue color. All right, and so actually let me go ahead and use the lighter purple here just so you can see what that looks like. So let me use this hex color, especially if I'm going to recreate it. Go back to the font, more colors, the hex code right here, change that out. Oops. All right, and then okay. I didn't actually select the text, so now I have to do that and change the color. All right, then what I want to do is basically create a text box, insert a text box, simple box, delete the text that's in there, and then select the box. Just make sure I'm selecting the box with no outline and no fill. And then move the box down. Oh wait, change the position so that way it's in front of text. And then I can now kind of move it around. Okay, now what I want to do is type my name again in here. Again, use the same font and size that you used earlier. So this one was this one at, I believe, 80. Okay, pretty close. Then what I want to do is change the font style, the text style, and I'll do that right here. And what I will do is actually create an outline, right? And I want an outline that is this blue color. So then I need to go back here and select, it was kind of probably this color. Okay, so I'm going to select that color, go back to Word, go back to the font colors, custom, change the hex color once again to this new one, and it should be blue. Okay, then what I want to do is make it an outline. Okay, and so I'll go to outline and actually change the outline to be that color. Okay, then I will get rid of the inside color, which is the non-outlined part of it. So I'll need to do that by changing the color here to be something like white. Okay. Now, I'm noticing that part of my name is missing, and that's because I need to make the text box a little bit bigger. And then I have it set right there. And actually, let me try to figure this out. There is a way, text fill, here we go. Okay, so I actually, in this text, don't want the text to have any color. So I get rid of the fill color, and then it will now just be just the outline, okay? And now I'm just gonna move it around to where I feel like it works the best, kind of right there. And I won't want to make it bold. So I'm gonna highlight it. Right, no, that didn't work. So I'm gonna go back to text fill and text outline, and I want the outline weight to be a little bit weightier. So I'm going to increase it probably to right here. Okay. It's not obviously the same weight as the image, but it's actually still really cute. I'm trying to decide if I want to offset it similarly to what is in the wreath, right? And I like that. That's cute. Okay, so I'm actually going to leave it kind of like that. And then what I'm going to do is actually save it and print it out on cardstock, and then we'll come back.
Okay, so I said I was going to do the printout on cardboard, but then I decided, let me go ahead and just do it on a piece of vellum because it's going to be really cute, I think, to have it be like a translucent cover. So I have my printout on some acetate vellum. I think it's acetate, really. I don't really actually know the technical term for it. And I have just like the front cover of the Planner Babe cover, which is really just, I'm going to be using it just as a guide. And I'm taking a look here to try to see where it would be like centered. And I want like it to be fairly centered, right? And so what I'm going to do is use some clips. Actually, these clips are the tiniest bit too short. So I don't know. Let me actually grab some tape and tape it down. Okay, so I have just regular tape here. It's packing tape because that's the first thing that was like right where I needed it to be to grab. Right, so again, I am trying to keep it centered, and I'm gonna flip it over and tape it down. Now it works like this because I'm actually going to be drawing the lines where I'm cutting on the front side. So this is really just meant to hold it in place while I draw my lines. Right, then I'm going to flip it over, and again just double checking that that's centered the way I want it to be. Okay, I think that's good. And then I'm taking a ruler, and I'm going to be drawing the line where the cover should basically stop, like the actual image should stop. And then there's obviously the laminated border. And one of the things that I do when I do this is try not to get it too close to the edge. In fact, I want it to be where I don't actually see the marker. And so I will mark it up slightly outside of where it should be, and then I'll cut with a pair of scissors from the inside. And it's actually hard to see it this way, so let me do it from this side. So basically I leave the tiniest little gap, so that way I can cut on the inside. I need a little bit more of a gap, I think. So I'm using a Sharpie fine tip marker, and it's pretty thick. Right, so I'll leave it just like this. And you can see I still have a little bit of gap to where I can cut it. That's slightly crooked, but I'm okay with that. I will measure it all the way around. And obviously you can use a paper trimmer to do this, but it's just like so many extra tools, you know? And so I'm gonna keep it nice and simple this time around. All right, now I already know that I'm going to be laminating this with 10 mil lamination, which means that I'll be using my not my Happy Planner punch, my arc punch to punch it, which means that the stems will be a little bit shorter. So I've decided that I'm okay with the fact that this will be slightly wider than is typical, but I want it to be fairly similar to all of the other covers, so I'm not going to like shorten it by the extra 1/4 inch. That would be like the shorter stem. So I'm just going to leave it as it is, right? And again, I will trim it out, and then I'm going to use my little corner rounder to round the edges, and it will be laminated. Okay, so it's running through my regular laminator, which is right here and not plugged up yet, but I'll plug it up and get it ready to go. And I put it into a 10 mil pouch, and we'll laminate just the front side, and we'll meet back after that. Okay, so I finished my cover, and it looks awesome, laminated. It's nice and thick, about the thickness of the Happy Planner covers. And so now I'm just gonna punch it. So I brought out my Happy Planner, not my Happy Planner, my arc punch, because it's a little bit stronger than the Happy Planner punch. And so I'm just going to put it in to punch. Now, the way that I do this for covers is to turn it so that way I can kind of see and make sure that it's symmetrical. And normally it'll be kind of like a halfway point that you'll see. And I want it just to have 9 punches, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you can kind of look and see that the very last 2, the 10th and 11th, the cover kind of goes like right down the middle of the 10th and 11th. So what that means is when I punch it, it'll actually have like a little cutout of part of the mushroom. So what I have to do is basically bend up the corners and tuck them here into this slot right here on both sides, so that way it only punches the 9 holes. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Wish me luck. All right, I won't be able to get it like that. It's just way too difficult. So I'm gonna do it one at a time. And what I'm gonna do is actually use just one side and fold up the one side and then punch from there. So I've got my cover done, and that is so awesome. Let me go ahead and get some more supplies and finish setting up at least the structure of this planner. Okay, so I grabbed a cover set, I grabbed the discs that I want to use, and then I also grabbed my setup that I have for, I mean, basically this was my personal until I moved into the A file. And so I have two clear covers that I got from Kita, at home with Kita, Little Miss Fancy Plans. And I also have some dividers that I'm thinking about using in this setup. So actually I pulled this thinking I would use that, but what I'm going to do instead is pull the front and back covers off of this planner. Like this. And I'll use these covers as the new front and back for this kind of tickler file that I've got set up. So that's on there. Okay, so look at these covers, aren't they gorgeous? All right, so I'm setting that to the side. Then what I'm gonna do is use these covers, including my cover that I actually made, as, for right now, just a temporary cover solution. I'm actually waiting for the kit, the welcome kit that I'm getting from Wild University to set up the back page, which I'll do very similarly to this one. But in the meantime, I'm going to use these clear covers from Little Miss Fancy Plans as the kind of the back edge, or the back cover. Right now I'm just putting them together just because, you know, I want to keep them together. I don't want to lose one of them. I don't really necessarily need both of them. And normally I would put them all together, but they are punched with different like size stems, so it's a little bit harder to kind of get all three covers on at one time. So I'm doing the two clear covers at the same time, but doing three at a time was going to tax my ability to snap covers on. All right, so that is that, and that's pretty much the setup. And again, I will probably change out these back covers and switch covers around again. But what I want to do now is basically put in my dividers. Now, what I want to be able to do is use these dividers as a way of marking out the different monthly lessons, as well as like any additional lessons, different classes that are being offered. So I'm going to put these in here, and you can see they have numbers on them, but I'll basically just take those numbers off. And these are top tab dividers that I created in a previous video. So I'll put these in here and just take the numbers off. I'll take the numbers off later because I'm pretty sure it will leave a little bit of adhesive. And the way that Wild University is structured is that there's a major course every month, a minor course every month, and then like just other like videos that are in like the diploma library, which I will put in this section. And then there is also, in addition to the classes that are offered through the website, like a llama lounge, which is like the social lounge. And so there, I will have a fourth section. I'm not sure that I'll need all four, but I just want to have these sections kind of listed out like that. So it's going to be one for the major class every month, one for the minor class every month, just one section for all of the other classes and the things that I will pull from those classes, and then a last one just for the social events that are occurring on Facebook in the private group. And so again, I'll remove the numbers later, but that's pretty much the setup here. I actually haven't printed out any of the handouts or worksheets, but the way that Wild University is set up is that you receive worksheets for each of the classes that you choose to take. So the goal here is basically to print out and put in here all of the different worksheets that I will be working through. And it might change, of course, as I start adding stuff to this, and I might need more dividers, things like that. But for right now, I think that this is going to be a really cute setup, and I want to be able to kind of leave it like this, where all the material is separated out into the different categories. And I also want to be able to pull like a monthly divider. Just to show you an example of this, is basically going to be where I have a divider here to separate the entire month and all the things that I did that month. And then once the month is over, I'm going to be moving these top tabs to like the next month, which would be like a October. And so actually I'm just gonna go ahead and put several dividers in here. The reason I'm doing this is just because it's kind of loose right now. So So let me just add a couple of dividers in here. These are really just literally randomly selected from my stash of unused dividers that I have sitting right over here. And I'm just pulling them from like having a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of setup. Sticking them in here. And now that I just did that, I think that I want to change this one out because this one has word, like checklist phrase on it. And I don't necessarily need that. So let me go ahead and put this one in there. And I'll go ahead and put a couple more dividers. And just to keep it a little bit more stabilized. I have way too many dividers. It's pretty much what I'm seeing right here. All of these dividers that I'm putting in here. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much what I've got for right now. Again, I have not yet gone through and printed out the printables or worksheets that I have for the first couple of classes, the major and minor classes, or any of the diploma library classes that are available yet. So once I start filling it in, I probably won't even need these dividers. I'll move them out and get it to where, you know, it's just going to be the worksheets in here. So I'm really excited about the setup, and I just think it's super cute. Look at that. It's just like Wild University with my name, beautiful discs, and I'm just ready to go, right? That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you're part of Wild University. Connect with me and let me know if you're part of the founding crew for the university, and I look forward to seeing you in the lounge if you are. Until the next video, bye!